Had to go live one more time. Just went out and got lunch, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty sleepy. I do like this live thing though. I'm gonna do this from now on. I wanted to go ahead and talk about the fire and the earth signs because I kept getting hit, in the last couple of videos. What about Virgo? What about Scorpio? So, Pisces. I keep getting all these. Hey, what do you think about these signs right here? So I'm gonna split them up. Okay, I'm gonna talk about fire and earth right now, air and water next time. That'll probably be tomorrow though. So, as I said in that last video, my favorite element is the fire element. I might elaborate a little bit more on that though, because I already deleted that video. But the fire element to me is the most versatile to me because I like spice. I like flavor. I don't like a boring flat line of blah, which you can kind of get sometimes whenever you're really trying to intermingle with like some of the earth signs and the water signs, kind of sort of. So my favorite, I would have to say, is Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. As I stated, my girlfriend's a Sagittarius. She has a Libra moon too, uh, which I'm still doing a little bit more studying on the deeper aspects of Libra, um, because that's like your moon sign is deeper aspects of you, you know. But anyway, like with Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, a lot of Leos come to me. I get an awful lot of you Leos who hit me up on Facebook, who are it's I don't know what it is. I've never had a romantic relationship with a Leo. Um, I did have a really good friend though at a job that I worked at for about 2 or 3 years. Me and him, like, we ended up looking out for each other. His girlfriend kicked him out of the house, and I gave him a place to live for a while, and then turned around when I left my wife, and then ended up going homeless. He gave me a place to live right before I went homeless, and then his girlfriend, who was a Virgo, threw me out after a couple months. But anyway, he was a Leo, and I found this too. Of all the fire signs, maybe it's because Aquarius mirrors Leo. I always have like the best, most like intellectually stimulating conversations with the Leo. Um, it doesn't really seem like I'm not saying by any means whatsoever that fire signs aren't intellectual. They are very much so, but it just doesn't really. They aren't always for constant stimulation of the mind, which oddly enough, that is one big thing that Aquarius is about. But on the other hand, uh, interacting with fire signs to me is it doesn't necessarily have to be intellectually stimulating because it's never really a dull moment with a fire sign. Um, it's just I like that. See, because fire is that's an emotional energy in and of itself. But for me, I like that kind of emotion better. And deep in my chart is mostly fire. I know that on the surface layers, I'm Aquarius and Virgo, and I do have Venus and Pisces, and I forget which planet. I think it's Pluto. I have Capricorn, but all other than that, every other planet I have is Sagittarius and Aries. So I have a lot of fire deep down in me, and maybe that's the reason why I like the fire element so much more. But it's never a dull moment. Like um, my girlfriend now, she's a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is pretty. It's kind of like the mellowed out version of the Aries. Is why I like Sagittarius so well. The Aries is really spontaneous and bow, which I like that too. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the Sagittarius to me is kind of like the mellowed out, almost kind of sassier version, who's a little bit wittier and thinks a little bit deeper and is a little bit more clever, than the Aries and can it's nothing for a Sagittarius to walk into the room and just blurt something out that's really really ridiculously inappropriate and hilarious, But like with the Aries though, um, Sagittarius is like a better Aquarius. I guess, I don't know. I notice a lot of similarities though between Sagittarius and Aquarius. And it's awful strange that 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 Leo is Aquarius's opposite, because The opposites, your opposite sign actually is like the kind of like the mirror energy, the mirror image energy. But for me, maybe it's because I have so much Sagittarius deep in my chart. 4 planets. I have 4 planets in a row in Sagittarius. How that worked out, I don't know. It was like some kind of planetary alignment when I was born. But you can look it up yourself. February 5th, 1988, 8:06 p.m. It shows 4 planets in Sagittarius. So maybe that's why I'm able to. But for the longest time, it seemed like I had a big problem with Sagittarius for a while. And it wasn't even really a problem that made me like really all that angry. But for the longest time, it's like every time I meet a Sagittarius, immediate best friends. Like immediately from the get go, within like 30 seconds of talking to each other, we're like best homies. But here's where we would always separate in the past. Um, and Where we would always separate in the past would be they would make plans with me and then ditch out on their own plans. And that would kind of always, it'd be frustrating, but it wouldn't be enough to like really make me cut the friendship off. I would just be like, what do you like? I don't understand what, I don't get it. But anyway, I'm in a relationship with Sagittarius now. Aries, though, Aries, okay, so I've offended Aries like so many times, and I did that video where I I actually talked to Tyler on Tyler's Tarot on his live, and I'm a content creator on Facebook. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, everything you see me post, the pictures and the memes and whatnot, I created myself. I got all these photo editors. I just don't like stealing and sharing content. If I get an idea in my head, I go create it myself. But anyway, I created a photo of Tyler from Tyler's Tarot with his hand out that says, "Don't come to me about it," because if any of you watching him, he says that all the time when he's reading his tarot cards. He's like, "Don't come to me about it." Anyway, he posted that picture on his channel for everybody to see, and I was like, "Hey, I made that for you." And he's like, "Aren't you the person that said something about Aries on his live, talking to me right here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I went and did that video. I've offended Aries before, and I don't mean any offense by it when I say things like this, but Aries reminds me of Mighty Mouse. That's like when I think of Aries, I think of Mighty Mouse, and Mighty Mouse is a pretty bad little motherfucker for real, though. Like, but like with the Aries, it's so well any cardinal energy. Um, Lenny, I was born in New Albany, Indiana. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, with any cardinal energy, it seems like they all kind of have this. They all kind of have this. Uh, they don't really give a whole lot of thought to their first conscious impulse. And okay, I said this in the last video, but I deleted it, so I'm going to go ahead and say it again. Your brain takes in somewhere in the billions of bits of information every second. I think they said 4 billion. It's either 4 billion or 40 billion or 400 billion, something like that. Anyway, billions of bits of information your brain takes in, but you only consciously process 2,000 of those bits of information. So by the time something is you're consciously aware of, which means you can think about it, you're aware that it's there. Do you have any idea how much more is going on inside of you that you aren't even aware of? That's the only thing that kind of makes me a little bit when it comes to like cardinal energy, how they kind of they believe, and they believe this wholeheartedly, that the best thing to do is to they think that's their authentic self. You got a lot more going on in there than what that is, than what you're consciously aware of. Your first conscious impulse, thought, emotion, that's not, I guess that's your first authentic conscious thought. But anyway, Aries though, love them to death too, man. Like I can like be just similar to the Sagittarius, immediate best friends from like the get-go. But the thing that ends up driving us apart, I said this in the other Aries videos, they will fire that gun. They are so quick to fire the gun first, and they don't even ask questions later, because Aries, the way they make their way through life is that they're very confident. Very, very, very confident. And Aries is kind of fascinating to me. I'm not able to study them long enough to figure out if they're doing it on purpose or not, but it doesn't really matter. whether or not what they're doing or what they believe in is right or wrong, or it doesn't matter. They are just as confident in doing something really, really dumb as they are doing something really, really intelligent and successful. It can go kind of both ways. And that's just kind of how, that's why Aries are such good leaders. Because confidence, if you just appear to be confident, it doesn't matter what your sign is, it doesn't matter who you are. People admire confidence. And Aries is the most one of the most confident signs of the whole zodiac. Between them and Leo are very, very confident. And that's why Aries becomes such good leaders, is because it doesn't matter if they even know what they're doing. It doesn't matter. They are very confident about it. If they accidentally mess up, like, because they're so impulsive, and if they accidentally do something stupid, they're still confident about, I meant to do that, and that so that's where it can get kind of rocky between me and Aries. Another kind of thing that about the fire element, just in general, mainly with Aries and Sagittarius. Aries being the worst, Sagittarius, kind of, sort of, but they will cut you off in the middle of a sentence. And like, I tell my girlfriend this all the time. Like, I'll start to say something, be halfway through with the point I'm about to make. She'll cut me off in the middle of it. They don't even let me finish what I'm saying, and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hang on, let me finish my point. That right there has to be, I think, probably that principle is the only thing that's ever separated me and Aries. Is they just like to fire the gun and assume that they know things that they don't. Which, I mean, it sucks. I've had some really close friends, Aries, that they're just so quick to throw a judgment out there and fire the gun and draw a conclusion, and that, assume things that are untrue, and that really sucks, because like I said, I've had some pretty close relationships that it really hurt that they separated, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't. But anyway, that's the fire element. I have to say is my favorite of all. Now with the earth element, though, the earth element's my second favorite. But here's where it kind of, I've mentioned this a couple times, but here's where it kind of, like with Virgo. A lot of people ask me about Virgo, and I can talk about this because I have such a heavy Virgo influence, I think. I can link up with a Virgo like really, really quick on the external level, because, like I say, I'm an entrepreneur. I do lots of marketing. I've adapted over the past year or so a very business-like way of thinking about things, because I've been in. I do several different. I market for several different companies, and I've done all kinds of network marketing and things like that. And I'm always in Virgo is very, any of the earth signs are very, very good in business, especially Capricorn, but I'll get to that in a minute. But with Virgo, they're very, very, like, we can talk about things like, oh man, I like this marketing idea, or, I just heard this new thing, watching a video on neurolinguistic programming, where if you say it this way, it might, you might be able to make a sale a little bit better, can toss ideas like that back and forth. And but to me, I'm not like the most materialistic person in the world. So at the end of the day, no matter, like, to me, whatever it is, business and money and all that stuff, yeah, that stuff's all fun and good and well, but it's just a big game. It's just a big old game. And earth signs take those things very, 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 very seriously. Like, very seriously. And that's like where they like to draw the line is, for me, just in my past experiences, is with anything that's not material. If I can't knock on it, walk on it, listen to it, smell it, or taste it, I'm skeptical of it, and I need to take the physicality and break it down and see the physical data that would substantiate the claims about the material physical. If I need to be able to see it and analyze it, and it's like I said, I can totally relate because of the Virgo influence that I have in me. However, I like to dig much, much, much deeper than that. Much deeper than that. So with the earth element, with Virgo in particular, a lot of people have asked me about Virgo. Jeannie, I like to be outdoors too. But I watched the playback of my last outdoor video, live at least, and it was really grainy and choppy and terrible because I didn't have the Wi-Fi out there. So from now on, when I do outdoor videos, I'm going to record them out there and then upload them here. Um, Comments, y'all. Let's see. Marcus, am I fire dominant? No, I'm not. Well, it depends on how you define dominant. Um, like I said, the last two birth charts that I did had 4 planets in Sagittarius. Um, I did a birth chart from this one thing the other day. I forget what it was called. It was a certain different way, and the guy said, that this one actually has the real constellation, so some of your signs might be different. And I went into it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm always open to new things. If I found out I got a few different planets, cool. But the birth chart came up that said that my sun was in Capricorn and my moon was in Leo. And I'm like, wait a minute. February 5th, 1988, the sun was not in Capricorn. Your birth chart sucks. Um, let's see. Lenny, Mars, and Saturn and Sag. Is that what the chart said that you got? Because these damn messages keep coming in. The last, I don't know where you went. They might all be a little bit different, but I think I still have the screenshot. If I can find it, I'll send it to you, like on Facebook. But it had 4 planets in Sag. The last one I got, I don't know, and one in Aries, and then there was my Venus in Pisces, and then another. I think it was Pluto, if I remember correctly, in Capricorn. But anyway, that's Virgo. That's kind of like, I do dig Virgo though. Virgo sun signs. And just before I move on to the next one though, um, I'm not saying that no Virgo out there is incapable of these goddamn emails. That no Virgo out there is incapable of seeing past the material. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite people that I'm subscribed to, Everyday Masters, he's a Virgo, and he's a reconnective healing practitioner, and he's very in touch with the cosmos and the universe and things like that of that nature. But I think that's something that Virgo has to learn. That's not like innate. It doesn't kind of come instinctual with that energy. It's an earth sign, of course. It's the earth, material. That's you understand what I'm saying? So anyway, though, Taurus. I'm gonna go on to this one again. Somebody yesterday at the end of that video said Taurus and Aquarius together, please. And for those of you who heard me talk about it on the last video I deleted, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it again. Might reword it a little bit differently, but I was married to a Taurus for 5 years. Both my mother and my father, who I wasn't raised by, but I do know. I don't have a relationship with either of them, but they're both Taurus. My mother is gay, and the woman that my mother, I think she's legally married to her. The woman my mother is with and been with for like 16 years is also Taurus. Let's see. I've had bosses that are Taurus. Taurus is an energy that I'm quite familiar with. I have a couple other cousins that are Taurus. Anyway, though, with my experience with Taurus and Aquarius being together, I'm gonna try to back away from this and not talk too much about the personal stuff. That's gonna be kind of hard though, because I want to like make this as understandable as possible. But one of the biggest things that with me and my ex-wife, which was the most toxic karmic relationship, that she was my karmic soulmate. But when a Taurus could repeat the same routine from the moment they're born to the moment they died. That would not bother a Taurus one bit. That I can't hang with that at all. Like every Taurus I have ever met, they have this thing, whatever their routine is. I don't know what it is. Everybody's different, but it's just the same thing at the same time, same channel, same everything, day in and day out, and it just never stops. Okay, so with that kind of energy idea, every single thing has to be one way. And if it isn't their way, they are not having it. this is one thing that my ex-wife and I used to get into an awful lot. She would say, like, I'm hungry. I remember the first time she did this to me, and it blew my mind. She said, I'm hungry. I said, okay. You want me to go make you a sandwich? I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember I came back with like a ham sandwich or something like that, and I gave it to her. She threw it at me. She threw the sandwich at me because I didn't spread the mayo the way she likes it. Like, literally, my ex-wife would, if it wasn't her way, she would rather starve to death than than eat something that wasn't her way. Like, I know I haven't had any food in 3 days, you know, and I'm probably going to start being malnourished here in the next couple of days. I'm very, very dizzy and lightheaded. And even though my personal preferences probably shouldn't get in the way of a life or death matter like that, I'm just that stubborn. To where if the mayonnaise isn't spread, I'm not saying every tourist is like that. By the way, I'm not saying that every tourist is going to get mad if you don't spread their mayonnaise right. I'm just saying, do you understand that that's the thing that drives me and the tourists? They have to have things one way, the one routine, the one way they like their food, the one just the one way, you know, or there it's one way or no way. My ex-wife and I, we smoke cigarettes. I just recently quit smoking cigarettes, but if those of you who smoke cigarettes, you can relate to this. Those of you who don't smoke and never have, it is extremely addictive, right? Well, like if we didn't have enough money to buy the kind of cigarettes she liked, she just wouldn't smoke. And I know that's kind of silly because you know smoking's bad for you and whatnot, but those of you who understand what it's like to be that highly addicted to you know something like that, it's like, no, I haven't had a cigarette in 8 hours. I don't care. Give me crumbled up dog duty if it has nicotine in it. Exaggeration, of course, but do you understand what I'm saying? I'll be like, okay, well, I don't have enough money to get a pack of Marlboros. All I have enough money for is a pack of some cheap brand. You know what I'm saying? For now, until I get my paycheck tomorrow. Nope, won't smoke. Like, the understand. Now, here's the final, like, to try to wrap the tourist thing up. The part that of all that, okay, that's totally cool, all good and well. But here's the part that I actually have a genuine problem with. And this is a phrase that you will hear every tourist say. I've never heard a tourist not say this. And I quote, I will be the first person to admit when I'm wrong. I'm going to repeat that. Quote unquote, I will be the first person to admit when I'm wrong. Taurus never admits when they are wrong. Ever, ever, ever. Now, I'm Aquarius. I'm fixed. I'm very stubborn. I'm one of the most stubborn people you will meet on this planet. When I'm wrong, even if my pride is such a big pill, it feels like it's going to choke me to death. At, at, at the worst, I will find a clever, sneaky way out of the argument and then go off and hide somewhere and be like, damn, man, I'm a dum dum. Well, it looks like I got to tear down what I thought I knew and start rebuilding it and do more research, you know. And I mean, it's embarrassing, but somebody like me, you don't get much more stubborn than me. You know what I'm saying? Than an Aquarius. Y'all know that. But not Taurus. Taurus they don't care how dumb it makes them look. They don't care if they're wrong. They go off into la la land and they will like start throwing arguments at you that make no sense just to win the argument. They're not satisfied until you back down. And at that point, your stubbornness is working against you. The stubbornness, it can be a virtue and it can be your worst enemy. I mean, well, I can't say I've seen this happen, but a Taurus, I'm sure would take a very violent ass whooping over something that they know they're wrong about. Like they will not back down for nothing, you know. But they say they will, and they don't. That's the biggest thing about Taurus and Aquarius. Because me, I'm not going to say I'm completely undefeated. Nobody's ever right all the time, but I'm very, very, very good at debating an argument, and I'm usually pretty good at picking and choosing what I want to debate about, and before I even let it get into an argument, 99% of the time, um, if I have a sense that I may not know what I'm talking about, I won't even let it get to the point of an argument. But, you know, just for the sake of the matter here, something pisses me off bad enough and I do start arguing and then I figure out I'm wrong. Like I said, at best, I'll slither away from it, in embarrassment and shame. It's not an easy thing to do for us fixed signs. We're pretty damn stubborn. We like to, we want to argue, but Taurus is the most fixed of the fixed signs of the entire, what is fixed Earth? It's a mountain. What the hell are you going to do with a mountain? You ain't going to move that thing. Anyway, Capricorn, I've talked about. But let me say this about Capricorn. When their energy, like I've said, it's kind of like the Chinese water torture, you know, uh, just dripping. That's how they get things done. That's how they operate in general. It doesn't even matter if that's how they get things done. That's just how they make their way through life. And that makes them very good in business. That makes them very successful entrepreneurs. In network marketing, which I don't really do too much anymore. Still do a little bit, but I just didn't like it. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, everybody asked me if I quit network marketing. I didn't quit. I still have plenty of services that I can offer. You know what I'm saying? That I still affiliate with a couple of different companies, that I can network with you. But I'm not like the Capricorn. Holy hell, man. It would just give me a migraine. And I promise you, those of you who do online business, check out the most successful network marketers. They're Capricorn. I'm telling you, like the biggest names, like in network marketing, the last time I went through and looked at them, I think 8 out of 10 of them were Capricorns because that's what it takes, With network marketing, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's when you partner up with a company and any kind of marketing, but specifically with network marketing, the way you go about doing it is you network with people. You say, hey, and if you make a sale, you make a commission for this company, and you say, hey, either however I want to promote it. If I say, hey, like with me, the team I'm on, who's the founder is a Capricorn, by the way. I say, hey, you sign up under me, I give you my team's training. So that's promoting the business opportunity. Or you could like say, hey, this is the service of the company. If you need these services, it's a legit company. It's not, you don't just have to network market. It's actually a company, Anyway, the Capricorn, that's that networking. They can just tick and tick and tick away at it. And you sit and watch them on Facebook. They post the same things every day and tick to tick, and they're in your inbox daily on a schedule. Hey, bam to bam to bam. And it's just like, eventually you just got to like ignore them until they unfriend you, But so Capricorn and Aquarius is like right after Capricorn. So Aquarius and Capricorn are ruled by the same planet, Saturn, but Aquarius has something a little extra in there. Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus, Uranus, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's funny, by the way, because a lot of people don't like to say Uranus, so they say Uranus. Okay, so what's worse, anus or urine? Like however you want to pronounce Uranus or Uranus, whatever. So Aquarius has that in there with it. And so it's kind of like Aquarius is very, very familiar with the ways of the Capricorn and being stubborn and knowing what needs to be done. But Aquarius has a little bit extra, like it's a little bit more evolved. It's a little bit more advanced, and it's beyond the earth element. It's kind of like, yeah, the earthy thing is all cool and well, and I'm very, very versed in all of this, but it's boring, dude. Oh my God. So the earth element though, I have to say is the one that it's an external layer friendship. It's not that I don't want to, wouldn't let, a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn in very close. But me personally, I get bored very easily. And that's why I like the fire element. Fire signs are like, to me, if you're with a fire sign and you're bored, something's wrong. Like they're not boring people. You just say, hey, how was your day? Be prepared to hear how their day was, or just anything. Fire signs make anything exciting and anything typically, as long as everything you say, hey, let's go try this. Okay, let's go try it, Always down to try something new. That's me. Like that's me definitely. I'm always looking for something new to experiment with. Of course, that's very Aquarian. You know, to me, I think, and it seems like a lot of air signs are like that too. But the whole air element to me, I am air, so for me, the rest of the air is just kind of like, I mean, we're air, yay. What do I need with more air? What am I going to do with more air? You know, fire is air doing a badass dance. In my opinion, it's just the air in a different form. It's a different form of the air. You understand what I'm saying? The air becomes the fire, and the fire becomes air. They're like a one feeding each other and becoming each other, and they feed each other. They feed off of each other. They help each other grow. They both give each other something to do. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, look at some of these comments. I haven't really responded. Aries, Joanne, what about Aries? I talked about them earlier. If you're just now tuning in, the moon enters Aquarius today. Oh well, that's cool. But yeah, Aries, Joanne, I talked about Aries earlier. I love Aries. I'll go ahead and talk them again. Talk about Aries a little bit again, and try to maybe cover some new things. Because, like I said, Aries is my favorite fire sign. They're not my favorite fire sign. I don't have a favorite fire sign, but Aries is. I don't even remember. Aries is one of my favorite fire signs. I don't remember. I had a brain fart there, but anyway, I have. It seems like shorter term relationships with Aries of all the fire signs, and but see where okay, just from what I've experienced in the Aries that I've met, it seems like they tend to get wrapped up in karmic cycles really quick. You know, like really early on in life, they get a lot of karmic cycles going because um, the passion in Aries is like I said, something that they don't particularly think too heavily about. They don't dwell on their passions like an Aquarius would, or even a Sagittarius. But Aries is just kind of like the spark. Okay, it's the very first spark bang in the entire, like what starts the whole energy out, the whole string of evolution out. So Aries sometimes can. I hate to say this, but from what I've seen a lot of Aries really get manipulated by a lot of people. You know, because some I've had Aries save my life before, like straight up. If you know, because they see you suffering, you know, Aries is very I want to jump right into something, and whatever it is, whatever I want, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, I want something, bam, I'm all on it. No second thoughts, no second, you know, I'm not going to sit and ponder one way or the other. It's bam. But that can also be kind of bad sometimes. And I've seen people take advantage of that, and it pisses me off. Like, it's like, man, you know, the fire element to me, fire is like, to me, fire in general is just, was like man's most precious gift, you know? And I don't think it should be mistreated. It can be like, it can come in handy, you know, to have, you know, just a fire sign on your side in general. But like with I've had some really awesome Aries friends. I remember one of the very, like when I was in a band. I'm a musician too, by the way. And the very first time I got a job as a paid musician, I was 21 years old. My bass player, who was a Taurus, his girlfriend was Aries. And she was like, she's the one that would sit there and watch the band practice and like straight up tell us, you know, no, that sounds like shit, you know. Like, you know, and I like that. I love the entire I like the entire fire element, you know. Just blam, just tell me straight up, you know. I'm like that with anybody. It's like, hey, whatever you're thinking, let me know. Don't string it along, you know, kind of like a water sign will. Water signs kind of like to hint and like, you know, just you got to guess. It's just like you don't really know what's going on. You do know, but then you don't. But you do deep down, but it's not, you know, all that unspoken shit. I can't stand that. Fire signs typically aren't really like that. It's like whatever you think, bam, I'm gonna tell you. I love that. I love it. So, what's up, Amps from England? Let's see. Why do some fire and air don't get along? I don't know. Of course, you know, I hate to say the whole, oh, look at the rest of your chart. But I don't know. I've met some Aries who say that they don't like Aquarius because from the Aries standpoint, what they say is they don't like the detached kind of whatever the Aquarius. I don't know. It's kind of like a give and take thing. But me personally, I really don't know why some fire and air doesn't get along. Now, okay, let's take a Sagittarius and a Libra, for example. Um, matter of fact, my girlfriend Sagittarius said she dated a Libra back in the day, and it was very much like, um, kind of like, I don't know. That could be too hard of a gust of air for the fire sometimes. That's the thing about air. You need to really be you need to be mutable in your own right. Even though I'm a fixed air, I have a lot of mutable earth in me. And I think anybody should be able to control whatever energy dominates them. So with fire and air, as the air, okay, let's just take it from the air standpoint. If you are an air sign and you're with a fire sign, you have to. How does the air behave with fire? Okay, it can either feed it, or it can blow way too hard and blow it out. You don't want to do that, or it can blow just hard enough to make it rage. You understand what I'm saying? You kind of like, as the air sign, you have to be consciously like aware of how the fire is burning. Is the way I look at it. So if you feel like you may be blowing a little bit too hard and getting the flames raging a little too little, so you got to back off a little bit. Sometimes I got to do that with my girlfriend. Sometimes we'll get into a bit, and it's so I can feel like the air and the fire just like breathe. Me and my girlfriend will just be like talking about something sometimes, and sometimes I'll like get to blowing the air a little bit too hard, and the flames will start raging, and I got to be like, whoa, 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 okay. And then sure enough, the fire goes back down to being, I don't know. It's just to me, uh, even though I have had bad experiences with fire signs, I'm not gonna say I haven't, but uh, I just in general, that's my favorite there. What is my rising sign? Virgo. Well, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you caught me live too. I got 14 of you all in here right now, which is pretty cool. I'm glad you all sit and watch them too, because these videos string on for a long time, uh, and I'm starting to like this live thing a lot better than recording. That's a couple of people asked me like last week or so, where have you been? Missing in action? And my okay, here's the thing about how I do the videos, or how I had been doing them. On my days, Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that I have like free, the house pretty much to myself, nothing to do. So I like to record my videos, and sometimes it can be awful hard to sit and think, how long do I want to make this video? What do I want to say it about? You try to play that in your head, and sometimes I'll sit and record two or three different videos, but I don't know if it's just my phone or what, but it takes forever to upload a YouTube video. I don't have a cheap, crappy phone. I mean, it's not the best phone in the world. It's a Samsung Galaxy J7. Um, could be, it might be the phone. I don't know, but I don't have slow internet by any means, But for some reason, and when I'm uploading a YouTube video, it slows everything down. Not just on my phone, but I can even get on my tablet, and everything is slowed down when a YouTube video is uploading. I can't watch other videos. So what I try to do, I'll record the video, and then right before I go to bed at night, I'll start uploading it right before I go to sleep. And usually it's done uploading by the time I wake up in the morning. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it drags on. But and I'll just like sporadically upload them throughout the week sometimes. Or sometimes I'll record one and forget about it and then be like, oh, I forgot about that. I'll upload that on like a Friday night, something like that. But I like this a lot better. Let's see. Earth and fire do get along, but fire find earth signs unfulfilling emotionally. Is this my understanding of it? Maybe I don't know. Um, Me having such a heavy earth influence, having such a heavy earth influence. Uh, I, of course, like I said though, I have fire deep in my chart. I just had somebody look up my birth chart too, and they said they only saw two planets in fire, but the last birth chart I looked up had four planets in Sagittarius and one in Aries. So either way, I got fire deep in my chart. Uh, Moon and rising in Virgo though, but I prefer the fire element. Um, Sammy, yeah, I'm February 5th as well. And Amps. Okay, so Sammy and Amps both had the same birthday as me. That's cool. Got a lot of you guys. Lenny, I think I got the same birthday as you too, which is, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's weird too because my cousin, I had a cousin who was born on the same day as me, and he's an Aquarius with a Sagittarius moon. He's a goofball. I haven't talked to him in years. I don't have any contacts with my family at all. That's a messy story. One of these days, I'm gonna tell you guys my story. I got some interesting stories. I know I've told you guys a few stories here over the past few days that y'all say are interesting. That ain't nothing. My life. I know a lot of people say this, but I seriously could write a book about my life. It that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't know, but uh, February 8th. Yep, yep. So I don't know. This is another thing too. A lot of people are like, "Oh, the difference between January and February Aquarius." I don't know. I've thought about. I've wanted to look into that a little bit. You know, is there a big difference? I'm not 100% sure. Man, this is a long old video here. I'm gonna have to. I'll keep it on for a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna have to go. This video is like super long, 41 minutes. But um, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Anyway, that's pretty much fire and earth right there. Just kind of the relation between the two. Um, let me see. I don't have any way of looking at what time it is. I don't know if I'm going to be back with another video today. Probably be tomorrow. But I'll talk about at some point. I'll talk about air and water. But I might just go ahead and end this one and then come right back on live and talk about air and water, depending on what time it is. But um, anyway, so let's see. Your mom's a January aqua. You're a February aqua. There is a big difference. Well, I mean that's what they say. I'm not disputing it, but I just haven't like personally like I haven't been around a January and a February Aquarius enough to like sit and look at the difference. I would imagine though that the January Aquarius, like people say, is probably a lot colder and drier and more boring, like coming straight out of Capricorn like that. And then Aquarius or February going closer to Pisces is probably a little bit more warm and understanding and emotional about things. Maybe I guess I don't know. It makes sense. It sounds good, you know. So I can accept that, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. 43-minute long video. Um, and depending on what time it is, I'll probably come right straight back and talk about air and water. So you guys have a good one. I will catch you on the next video whenever that is.